All right, greetings students. Mrs. Clary coming at you live from my living room with another math mini lesson. I hope you are all doing well, staying safe, washing your hands during this time. I miss you and I hope to see you soon. All right, we're going to start with a warm-up with length conversions because today we're going to do real-world problems with conversions. Remember the golden rule of conversions. Big to small, multiply, and small to big, divide. And today we're going to be working with these length measurements. So I put our little reminder there of the largest to the smallest. Warm-up problem number 1, we're going to convert 13 feet to inches. So we need our conversion for feet and inches. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And we know feet are bigger than inches, so big to small is going to be that multiplication sign. And we're going to multiply 13 times 12. 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 1 is 2. I'm done with the 2, placeholder 0. 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 1 is 1. And we're going to add those up. 6 plus 0, 6, 2 plus 3, 5, and 1. So 13 feet is equivalent or equal to 156 inches. Warm-up problem number 2. We're going to convert 24 feet to yards. We're going to need that conversion for feet to yards, and we know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Feet are smaller than yards, so small to big means we're going to be using that division sign. So 24 divided by 3. Skip count strategy, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. There's my numbers, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know 24 feet is equivalent or equal to 8 yards. There we go. All right, let's do some real-world problems with length measurements. Now, we're going to work our way up through 3 problems. The first one's going to be our simpler one without a conversion. The second one will have a conversion. And the third one's going to be the most difficult with 2 steps. So if you need to pause, you need to rewind, feel free. If you come across questions, send me a message in Canvas, Seesaw, or email. All right, problem number 1. An electrician uses 480 yards of wire in 6 apartments. If he uses an equal amount of wire in each apartment, how much wire is used in each apartment? So, comprehension strategy. Who or what is this problem about? An electrician. What is the electrician doing? He's using some wire in some apartments. What do we know about the wire in the apartments? Well, we know 480 yards of wire. And we know that he has 6 apartments. So what is the electrician doing with that wire in those apartments? Well, we need to know how much is in each apartment. So he's taking that 480 yards of wire and he's dividing or splitting it up between the 6 apartments. Skip count strategy, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. If I have 48, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups. 8 times 6 is 48. Subtract and bring down. Now when I bring down, I have a 0. And remember, if you're bringing down zeros, you just pop up that 0 into your answer. So he actually has 80 yards per apartment. So now let's explain what we did. All right, so I divided 480 yards of wire by 6 apartments. Now don't forget those labels. because I needed to know how much wire was used in each apartment. This told me each apartment used 80 yards of wire. So again, that's one of those length real-world problems that you don't have to convert units. This next one actually requires us to convert units. So it says, Sarah is sewing a quilt. The pattern she has says she will need 48 feet of fabric. The store only sells fabric by the yard. Those of you who've ever been to a fabric store, maybe with mom, grandma, or a friend or someone, you know that when you go up to that counter with that fabric, they always say how many yards. So this really is a real world problem. You might have to do this someday if you're ever sewing or need to get some fabric. How many yards will she need? So, who is in this problem? Sarah. What is Sarah doing? Well, she's making a quilt with some fabric. And the pattern says she needs 48 feet. She goes to the store and they're like, well, how many yards do you need? So Sarah has to convert her feet to yards to be able to answer that question. So 48 feet equals how many yards? We know our conversion is 3 feet equals 1 yard. And then we need to ask ourselves, feet to yards. Are feet bigger or smaller? And we know feet are smaller, so we're doing small to big, which means divide. 48 by 3. Skip count strategy, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and I need to scroll up a little bit, 27. If I have 4, I can get one group of 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, bring down. If I have 18, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract, nothing to bring down, so she needs 16 yards of fabric. So let's explain what we just did. It was a conversion problem, but our strategy for explanations will still work even for conversions. So I divided 48 feet by 3 feet per yard because I needed to know how many yards of fabric Sarah needed. This told me Sarah needed 16 yards of fabric. So that's an example of a word problem where you have to convert the units. Let's look at one more, and this one is going to require us to do 2 steps and convert units. So this is our most complex one. All right, Sydney is going to make bracelets to sell for a fundraiser. She bought 8 feet of yarn. She wants to cut it into pieces that are 6 inches long. How many bracelets can she make? So we have Sydney. That's who the problem's about. What is she doing? Well, she's making bracelets. So what do we know about her bracelets? Well, we know she has 8 feet of yarn. Whoops. And we know 6 inches per bracelet. And I need to know how many bracelets she can make. Before I can figure out how many bracelets she can make, I need to know how many inches she has of yarn because the measurement is in inches to make the bracelet. So step 1 is going to be 8 feet equals how many inches? And I know 1 foot is 12 inches. There's my conversion. And we're going feet to inches. So feet are bigger than inches, so I'm actually going to multiply 12 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16, carry my 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So she has 96 inches of yarn. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so I have a little more workspace. So I know she has 96 inches. There are 6 inches per bracelet, so I need to now divide that 96 inches by the 6 per bracelet to figure out how many bracelets she can make. Skip count strategy. 36, 42, 48, 54, there we go. If I have 9, I can get 1 group of 6. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract, bring down. If I have 36, I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups, which is 36. So that tells me she can make 16 bracelets. Now for our explanation. Two-stepper, so we're going to have to use some of those transition words that we've learned about. First, and we always put a comma after our transition words, I multiplied, double check my numbers, 8 feet of yarn times 12 inches per foot. And we did that because we needed to know how many inches of yarn Sydney had. Then, another transition word, comma, I divided 96 inches by 6 inches per bracelet because I needed to know how many bracelets she could make. This told me she could make 16 bracelets. Alright guys, so you're going to do a couple of word problems on your own and do a little bit of review. And I will be available via Seesaw, Canvas, or email. If you have any questions, you just want to say hi, or just want to send me a joke. I'm missing you guys, and I hope you're doing well. I'll be in touch with another video, or you can message me. Take care. Be safe.